Hi, my name is Jade and I am your Instructor Live trainer. Welcome to your 6th final video of the back care plan. So I'm going to invite you to use a chair as a prop today, but we're actually going to be lying down on the ground. So if you have a yoga mat at home, great. If you don't, doesn't matter. Just make sure you're on something comfortable. So whether you're on some carpet or maybe you've got just a towel or a blanket or something underneath you so you're not lying on a hard surface. And then whenever you're ready, I'm going to start lying down. And like I said, I'm going to pop both feet on top of the chair. So this could be just a normal kitchen chair or a sofa or something like that. So we're going to place the feet on top of the chair. And then we're going to make sure our spine is in a line. So the back of the head's rested on the ground. Shoulder blades are gently on the floor. I'm going to make the triangle shape we made in the previous video. So thumb together, index fingers together, and place that triangle over your belly button. Then let the elbows soften down into the ground and then slowly start to activate the abdominals. So think about drawing the belly button towards the spine. Now, in our previous videos, we did our pelvis tilts. We're going to do that here. So I'm going to invite you to tilt the pelvis. Now you can see I make a big gap underneath my back. So there's a big arch. And then you go the other way and imprint your back into the ground. So you're slightly tucking that tailbone under. You'll feel the abdominals activate. Let's do that again. So I'm going to arch the back, make a big gap, big bridge underneath the lower back. And then imprint the spine into the floor, tuck that tailbone under, draw the belly to the spine. Let's do that one more time. So arch in the back, big space here. This is gorgeous mobility for the lower back. And then press that back into the floor, helps us activate the abdominals. Now you find a neutral spine. Now neutral spine means somewhere in between those two postures. So you're not pushing the back into the floor and you haven't got a big curve. It's somewhere in between. Now I'd like you to keep that activation. We did single leg lifts before seated. We're going to do the same again now. We're going to breathe out as you lift one leg just gently off the chair. Inhale as you place it down, change sides. Exhale, lift the other leg. So I'm alternating my leg lifts here, keeping the hands in this triangle shape to help us keep that abdominal activation. The head and shoulders are on the ground. We've got a lovely lengthened spine. And you're really focusing on trying to keep that neutral spine in the lower back. By having this core control, this gives you a really good solid foundation to support your back. So let's do one last time here, our last leg lift, leaving both feet on the chair. We're going to take the hands off, placing the hands down by your sides, palms of the hands on the floor. We're going to do a baby bridge roll. So we imprint the back into the floor. So you find that tucked under pelvis again. And now you're going to try to lift your bottom ever so slightly off the ground, switching on through the backs of the legs, the glutes, the hamstring. And then you go back down, rolling down through the spine and pop the bottom back down onto the ground. So we're going to do that again. So you press the back into the floor, tuck the tailbone under, lift the bottom ever so slightly off the ground, make sure the head and shoulders are relaxed here. And then you go back down, rolling through the spine, the bottom touches the ground last. If you find you're getting hamstring cramp, make the movement smaller. Also focus on the out breath. So I'll breathe out through the mouth as I lift the bottom off the floor. This will help those legs relax slightly. Or maybe you might like to miss this one out. Please don't force it if it doesn't feel good for you. We're going to do this one last time. So imprinting the back into the floor, lifting the bottom, pressing through the legs, using the out breath as you come up, and then slowly taking your time as you come all the way down. Let the bottom come down to the ground. Let's stretch out those hamstrings, okay? So we're going to hug the right knee into the chest. So you interlace the hands over the shins, same as we did seated in the previous videos. Hugging the right leg in towards you, pressing your shoulder blades into the ground. Now, if it's accessible, we're going to take this leg up for a hamstring stretch. My advice is to use a prop. Now, when I say a prop, you could use a dressing gown cord, a tie, a sock, a band if you have one at home. You pop the prop around your leg and you would use that. It could even be a jumper, a towel, hook it around the leg and then use that to bring the leg towards you. Because otherwise, if you're holding the leg, you might find the head starts to come up, the shoulders start to come up, and that causes unnecessary tension. So keep this leg slightly soft. Try not to lock out the knee. Keep your bottom on the floor. Don't lift your bum up now. Make sure the bottom stays down and use your breath as you ease that leg in towards you. Whilst we're here in this hamstring stretch, we're going to flex the foot and point the toes so that we get a little bit of activation and stretch through the calves at the same time. Let's do one more mobilization through the foot. And then we'll slowly bend that knee back in and pop that leg onto the chair. Let's do the other side. So hugging the left knee in towards you, bringing the leg towards the torso, leaving the head and shoulders on the ground. Maybe this is enough for you. You might like to stay here, and that's absolutely fine. Or we can take that leg up for a hamstring stretch, using a prop if you need to, like I mentioned before on the other leg. Maybe you might even need to keep that knee slightly bent, which is all good. We're going to take a flex and a point of the toes here. So we're getting a little bit of movement into the calf as well. And this is a great way to stretch out those hamstrings. Like I mentioned before, obviously we don't want to have tight lower body because that is going to pull and cause unnecessary tension on the back. Let's soften that foot, slowly bend the knee and pop the feet back onto the chair. Inhale, take those arms overhead. Try to get your hands to touch the floor overhead if you can, without flaring the ribs and without lifting the back completely off the ground. Okay, so keep that pelvis alignment, keep the abdominal activation we've spoke about. We're going to interlace the hands and then cup the hands behind your head, trying to keep your elbows wide on the ground. We're going to do a few abdominal crunches. This is great, again, to strengthen through the core to support our back. We exhale as you bring the chin towards the chest, lift the shoulder blades off the ground, slide the ribs down towards the hips. You're scooping and hollowing the belly, and you're keeping the elbows wide. Eye lines looking through the legs, not up towards the ceiling. Make sure you go down the same way with control, with precision. The shoulders go down, then the head, and then the elbows. Let's go again. You breathe out, chin comes up, shoulder blades lift. You slide the ribs down towards the hips, elbows are wide, scoop and hollow the belly. Control, don't just plop back down in a heap. Make your way down slowly. We're going to do that twice more. Exhaling, chin comes to chest, slide the ribs down, keep the elbows wide. Control the body as you roll down through the spine, head and shoulders relaxed. Last one here, chin to chest, slide the ribs down, scoop and hollow the belly, and then gently make your way back down onto the floor. Once the head comes down, extend those arms overhead again. So we're lengthening through the spine, don't lift the rib cage, and then bring the arms down by your sides. Now this time, bending both knees and bringing both knees in towards your chest if you can. So I'm hugging my knees in, pressing the lower back down into the ground. So I'm finding some stillness here first. Shoulder blades coming down, lower back is contacting the ground, so feeling that pressure. And then maybe having a little rock side to side, a self-massage here into the lower back. Please be careful here. I'm going to slowly come onto your sides. This is the safest way to bring yourself up to seated. So coming up when you're ready. Going to come onto the knee. So we're facing the chair now. Placing both hands onto the chair. Knees are hip distance apart, and I'm sitting onto my heels here. If you can't get your bottom to your heels, pop a pillow or a rolled up blanket between the bottom and the heels. That will help the knee alignment. From here, a little assisted child's pose, similar to what we did when we were standing. I'm going to allow the chest to come through the arms, soften the elbows, let the body fall through as you take a slow, steady breath out through the mouth. Really feel the shoulder blades meeting towards each other, opening up through the chest. And then be careful as you lift the chest slightly. Bring the hands down onto the ground. Take your weight back a little bit further just so that you're not too close to the chair. Open the knees a little bit wider and then creep your hands through towards the chair, inviting your forehead to come down towards the ground. A beautiful child's pose here. Knees are wide so the hips can open up. Breathing into the back body, into the shoulder blades. Slow, steady breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then that thread the needle pose we did when we were seated earlier on in this plan. We take the left arm, thread it underneath your right arm. Bring your left ear down to the ground and reach your right arm towards the top of the mat a little bit further. Again, try and allow the heels to fall towards, the bottom to fall towards the heels, as you allow the body to fall towards the ground. Be careful as you bring the left arm back out, reach towards the top, and take the right arm underneath the left. Right ear comes down towards the ground, looking towards the right hand. Beautiful twisted stretch here. Slowly bring the right arm forwards and walk your hands all the way in towards the knees, bringing yourself up to sit on your heels, hands rests onto the thighs, and you are done.